right, welcome to Art with Ian. Today we are talking about getting ideas down traditionally and then bringing them into Photoshop or whatever other digital software you use to kind of finish them or, take them further. So for a lot of people, I know myself included, sometimes it's nice to just grab a pencil and paper and sit down and draw. But on occasion, you might sketch something and think, well, that would be kind of fun to go somewhere with that. I kind of like the pose, or I kind of like the idea, and you'll want to take it into, traditional. And I think it's a great way to maybe get different expressive ideas down that maybe wouldn't come to you the way that you draw digitally. There is a little bit of a difference in the tactile feel of just traditional sketching. So that's what we're going to do today. We're just, as you can see, I'm just drawing sketching out a figure. I'm staying, as always, when I sketch, I'm staying super loose. I'm not looking for a good drawing. I'm looking for a pose. I'm looking for shapes that I like, just, the compositional kind of stuff, because knowing that I'm going to be working this further into a painting, the drawing itself is really not the key. All the drawing needs to do is get me to the painting, to the point where I can actually paint and know what I'm trying to accomplish. So here in a moment we'll be taking this drawing, throwing it into Photoshop, and then I decided, instead of just having one character without an actual action sequence happening, well, what if I, in Photoshop, I actually draw in something else so that there's a full action sequence happening. So just basically at this point, I'm just looking at it, kind of thinking, trying out little things that I may or may not want to go with later, giving myself some notes for when I get it into Photoshop. That's one of the many nice things about digital art, is that you can tweak your drawings so easily. So here it is now in Photoshop. I'm going to, so you can see I'm just using the marquee tool to copy that. I'm creating a new canvas, 20 width by 11.25 height and 300 resolution. So now we have a good resolution and a new canvas to play with. I'm going to paste in, and you can see now I can just move that around, put it where I want, thinking about how I want the full piece to be. And I'm just turning down the opacity on that, and I'm using the lasso tool, going over a couple of my notes, shortening that leg. I decided, instead of increasing the head size, that I was going to make the arm smaller. After looking at it a little more, I realized that the head didn't look right because the arm was too big. So I changed that. And now I'm just going to get in there and start drawing another character and sketching. So instead of sketching another character on paper and bringing it in, I'm just going to go for it here in Photoshop. And if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I sketch with a really unforgiving pen, like the hard Photoshop brush, the stock brush, not the one but it's the one that has the pressure, so it actually tapers. So it's the pressure sensitive hard brush in the stock Photoshop set that I use, and it looks really bad when you sketch with it. But the reason I use it is because it stops me from getting caught up in the drawing. I know it's not going to look good, and so that because I know that it's not going to look good, I am able to focus completely on my ideas, my design, because there's just nothing else to look at. It looks terrible. And it's taken me a long time to get settle into this technique, because it's hard to look at what you're drawing and feel like it looks that bad. But over the years, I've come to realize I wasted a lot of time trying to make a good drawing when I was really not even drawing at all. I was designing. And it's just, it's important, I think, to know the difference between getting a design out and actually trying to draw something. So now I've pretty much got my action sequence set up here. You know, dragon, you know, this mage-like character is taking on this dragon. I've got the drawing of the dragon separated, so it's on its own layer. And this is the beauty of sizing that down. This is the beauty of being able to take your work into digital, and being comfortable working digitally as well as traditionally, is going from something that was just maybe you were watching TV, sketching, doodling in your sketchbook, and you do something and you go, you know, I kind of actually like that. But it was never done with the intention to be a piece, like an actual, you know, painting or full piece. And being able to take it straight out of that and throw it into something where you can work it as much as you want. You have access to as many colors as you want, and brushes or whatever else, you know. And that's just that's a really great thing. I decided if she's falling backwards that her hair would be going the other direction. That's another thing. You should always be looking at how you can maybe improve your drawing as you go. Like, maybe you just like defaulted to something and weren't thinking about the physics, and you know, you can go on and then say, hey, wait a minute, the hair should actually be going the other way. Like, always be thinking, don't just trace, you know, your original idea without thinking about what you're doing, how you can maybe improve it. Still just using that same brush, that hard pressure brush. It's a good inking brush, especially if you actually don't plan on keeping the drawing, which I don't. I'm going to be painting everything, all the line work out. So really the line work, I'm just doing the line work so that I have something really solid to hold down my drawing while I paint, until I can get the painting to a point where I no longer need the lines. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that this is typically the way that I work. It's every now and again I do something where I actually leave the line art in, and I will do line weight and actually kind of take more care with my line art when I plan on leaving it in. But when it's just a placeholder for the paint, this is pretty much the extent of the care that I give it. Because why waste a bunch of time on it when you don't plan on keeping it? I mean, simple as that. Okay, so now you can see I've turned the drawing, the sketch, my original sketch is completely gone now. And I've turned off the line art for that so I can come in and worry about the dragon only, not have that in the way. For the dragon design, I kind of wanted to do something like a little bit like slightly cartoony meets, you know, I don't know if you've seen any of, I mean, probably most of you have probably seen like Blizzard type of art, that kind of cartoony, like a little bit less than believable, but fun and cool design ideas. That was kind of the aesthetic I wanted to go for. Mostly I just didn't want to spend an eternity rendering this, and honestly the video, the recording doesn't go all the way to a finished render. I will show the finished piece at the end just so you can see what I came up with. But I'm only going to take the actual recording of the process, I'm only going to take it to the point where I get basic masks down. Because I've seen, you've seen my process before in other videos, and if that's what you're interested in, you can just browse my channel and find videos where the intention is to actually show my process. Really, the intention of this is just to show how you can take your traditional ideas, throw them into Photoshop or Procreate or whatever you use, and carry on with them, and they don't have to stop at a sketch. You know, you can take anything you do can be pushed to any point of completion. And sometimes the low pressure of just sitting and working in your sketchbook will result in some of your best drawings or your best ideas. Maybe not your best drawings, but your best ideas. And that can, you know, that can be a great way to get ideas for finished pieces. Oh, and I just used my phone, by the way, to take the picture. You don't have to, you know, you could scan it too, I guess, but you don't have to do anything. You don't have to get a great picture because, again, you're not going to be keeping that. It's just something to draw over. So now I'm working on getting all the lines closed off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the wand tool to select the whole dragon, and then I'm inversing that selection, creating a layer underneath and filling that in. And that is the quickest way to make a layer, like to make a mask to work off of. Now I'm doing the same for her. So again, that's, you select the outside with the wand and then go to select, inversion, invert the selection, and then fill that in. And that's how you create a mask without having to take a brush and actually paint everything in. But you have to make sure all your lines are closed, perfectly closed off. If there's any opening in the lines, the selection will go inside there and it won't work. So now I'm just messing with the composition a little bit now that I can see them better. Changing the size of the dragon. Thinking about the rule of thirds here for my focal points. Just indicating to myself that I do plan to push that back into the distance on the dragon. So her silhouette, not only will it help make him look bigger, the dragon look bigger, but it will make her silhouette pop better. Now I'm just experimenting really quick with what I might do with the power, you know, that she's blasting out of her hand. My plan was just to do like a charge, like a charging ball of power. But before I committed to that, I just wanted to check really quick and see if it might be cool for the blast to actually be hitting the dragon. But I decided in the end, and you'll see when you see the finished piece, I decided that it made more sense for it to be like she's still charging up her blast and the dragon is charging up its breath, and it leaves it to you to decide who's going to actually come out better instead of kind of forcing the narrative. But I figured I would just give this a look in just before I committed to the other one. So real quick here, we're going to be coming up now. Oh, and I also wanted to indicate to myself like how I kind of wanted to do the fire, and also for you guys to see, just like that would be the early process, you know, of just hinting at my colors, my, you know, where I'm going to push the colors and the focal point. And then real quick, we're coming up on the end here. We'll see the finished piece. And I really encourage you guys to try this, to just throw some of your traditional work into digital and carry on and push it and see where it takes you. I feel like combining the two is a really great way to work. So I highly recommend it. And here's the finished piece. And I could have gone farther with this than I did, but I just wanted to kind of get it somewhere decent enough for you guys to see what I would do with it. Anyways, that's going to wrap this one up. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications of future videos, give this one a like, comment, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, share it with your friends, ring the bell for notifications of future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.